So I happened across this video called If Atheists Were Actually Honest. Pipe, the mind of an atheist, dash, I reject to believe in truth. Very catchy title, brevity is the soul of wit and all that. Okay, actually it's not great, but I'm sure the actual video is better. Let's find out about our minds together, from this guy who definitely knows them better than we do.
A warm welcome to the writer of God is not real even though he exists.
Typo right out of the gate, good start. And then reading the typo out loud, even better.
Atheistic me, myself, and I.
Oh, that's clever. Atheists are individual people. Haha, atheists, you so silly.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, so here's the Earth. Chilling. Damn, that is a sweet Earth, you might say. Wrong.
So after going through what has been presented to me, all the evidence and arguments for God's existence and the reliability of the New Testament, and all of the arguments for the historicity of Jesus Christ and his resurrection, I have came to a conclusion today.
So what are you going for here? Kind of a Richard Dawkins impression? It's broad enough that I can figure out that's probably what it's meant to be. I mean, atheist, high-pitched English, that's pretty much all you need. You know, now that I think about it, and I actually forgot about this, the first video I ever uploaded to this channel was a clip from the show Dexter, from season 6, episode 9, and there's this atheist professor who's, again, kind of an imitation of Richard Dawkins, and it's the worst, most ridiculous caricature you'll ever see in your life. I got like 5,000 or 6,000 views on that when I put that up, which I was pretty pleased with, even though I had nothing to do with it. I'd show it here, but the original got taken down for copyright. Maybe I can show like 1 second.
You need God to explain everything, right?
My arguments against these arguments is that I don't like it.
Oh, I see. It's gonna be one of these, huh? Well, in that case, strap in, people, because this is gonna be a tedious one. Bet you anything there'll be nary an argument in sight.
I just simply don't like it. I can't really think on how to properly refute these arguments, but what I can say is that I do not like it.
Uh-huh. All right, I'm already regretting getting myself into this. Please tell me I'm not going to have to listen to this through the whole video. You know I'm right, but you just don't like it. My arguments are great, and you know it. You're just poopy head, and you just don't like it. You just stop being so stubborn. Yeah. Fucking infantile. And by the way, this video is 11 minutes long. Wish me luck, audience. I wish you good luck in return.
To be honest, the arguments seem pretty aligned with reality, and that kind of scares me, because I don't want moral accountability. I don't want a higher being than myself. In fact, I would much rather be a god of my own life.
Do I even need to bother? I don't, right? I mean, you know. I know you know, you know I know you know. I know you know I know you know, so if we all know, except this guy, I mean, you know?
So knowing that there is a God being, a creator and sustainer of all creation above humanity, it kind of scares me.
That's why we're always laughing at your arguments, absolutely. I mean, it's a fearful belly laugh. During my giggling fits behind the scenes, I'm pissing my pants with raw terror. Hey, it's December, okay? I don't want to pick something I actually have to work on. If I can just my way through the whole video, that's far better. Even so, I'm still kind of regretting the decision, but it's cool. Well, I'll get through it.
So what I have to say, my arguments against it is that
I don't like it, Mr. Super Smart Theist Man. I just can't argue against your brilliant intellect in the Kalam cosmological argument and the teleological argument. What a watch on the beach. How can I possibly believe in evolution? Which means now I secretly believe in God, but if I'm just too scared to say it. Oh, please don't squish me with your gigantic galaxy brain, Mr. Theist Man. I am but an humble beetle relative to you. Oh, fuck.
I don't like it. I am not convinced. And I'm not convinced because the evidence is not convincing enough.
First thing you've said so far that makes any sense?
In fact, I'm not convinced because I don't want to be convinced.
Well, that's part of it. I mean, I don't want to be convinced by evidence that's not convincing enough. If I wanted that, that would just be me saying I want to be intentionally gullible. Or in other words, a fucking idiot.
I know I act like I'm very interested in these arguments, and I act as if I'm actually trying to do my true research and dig deep to see if these arguments are actually aligned with reality, and to be honest, it seems extremely accurate to reality.
Anyone still with me? Hold my hand. These arguments are so very, very accurate to reality. I do not believe I can keep up the facade much longer in the face of such overwhelming critique. Yeah, can we, stop with the English accent? It's getting really, really annoying.
I have no real proper arguments against the evidence that has been shown to me. I have no real arguments against the reliability of God's existence, or the historicity of Jesus Christ and his resurrection, or the reliability of the New Testament. In fact, I gotta think very hard to try to come up with some foolish argument that makes no sense, but may sound very smart, but just doesn't align with reality.
You could have cut this down to 2 minutes. Maybe less, if you bothered to script it in advance, and then cut out all the garbage, tighten up your lines, stick with the good stuff. 2 minutes, in and out, short and sweet, would have been a whole lot funnier. I mean, I don't want to spoil the video. I did look ahead. This is the entire joke through the entire 11 minutes. Just different awkward presentations of the same idea over and over and over. Here, I made an edit of it that gets to the exact same point, just much more snappy.
A warm welcome to the writer of God is Not Real, Even Though He Exists.
Okay, so after going through what has been presented to me, all the evidence and arguments for God's existence and the reliability of the New Testament, and all of the arguments for the historicity of Jesus Christ and his resurrection, I don't like it. It kind of scares me. But anyways, thank you guys. Thank you.
Now come on, how is that not better? But that's not what we're dealing with. That's just what I'm dreaming of. Back to the old stupidity mines for me now.
I almost have to steal from God in order to argue against him.
Don't even know what that means, and you're probably not going to clarify, so who cares? Sorry, by the way, if that seems low effort, but he's not arguing anything. He's just saying things, just random things. I don't even know if he knows what he means, and I'm sure not going to try to figure it out for him.
And it fails every single time. In fact, I don't even know why I'm up here if God doesn't exist. If God doesn't exist, why do I worry so much about the belief in God?
Because the people who believe in God exist. If you believe that God exists, why do you worry so much about the belief that he doesn't? If you believe evolution isn't real, why are you so worried about the belief that it is? If you believe trickle-down economics doesn't work, why are you so worried about the belief that it does? If you don't believe Xbox is a good console, why are you so worried about the belief that it is? You can apply this to anything and it'll sound equally pointless. It doesn't matter how your opposition got interested in the conversation, it matters what points they make. If you think their time would be better spent elsewhere because if they don't believe your thing, then they should never say a word in opposition to it for some reason. That's your opinion. They don't share your opinion. Why are you so worried about the belief that it's worthwhile to have this conversation if you don't think it is? So by your own standard, maybe you should stop worrying about it. Quit your bitching about the fact that there are people on the other side of the conversation and just make a point. You sound pathetic, dude.
Why am I convicted so much about moral accountability, the history of Jesus Christ and his resurrection and everything he taught?
Why are you convicted? Like as in a convicted sinner? Like as if you feel guilty about something? That doesn't make any sense in the context. Maybe you mean convinced? Do you think convicted means the same thing as convinced? Or you know what? Maybe you think it means the same thing as to speak with conviction. That's probably it. That's not the same thing.
The descriptions within the New Testament and all the details thereof. Why am I so convicted by this information? Why am I so convicted by the documents? If God doesn't exist, and nothing really matters.
Little window into the desperation behind this video, eh? You really think that, don't you? That if you don't believe in God, all of a sudden life lacks any meaning or importance, that nothing matters to you anymore. Sounds like a sad little world to live in. I sure am glad I never had to experience it.
Why am I wasting my time up here at this very moment? If God doesn't exist, None of this even matters.
I say it a lot, how Christianity has this way of draining importance and meaning and value out of everything and out of everyone, just to try to peddle its own version of the same things back to the people who somehow fell for it. It rejects the very human nature and origin of these ideas and feelings, and then insists that no, they're much greater than humanity. If something means something to humans or matters to them in some way, well, that's just meaningless. That's worthless. Even though you experience the value of it every single day, there is no value to it unless the religion says so, because I said so. Become hopeless, feel worthless, devalue everything and everyone around you. Suppress your petty human thoughts like that anything means anything, or matters in any way to anyone. Let the light go out of your eyes. Be miserable, because then I can make you a believer, and give it all back, so generously, so helpfully, as if I never took it in the first place. Nah, I'm good. You can take that garbage someplace else.
It doesn't matter if you believe in God, it doesn't matter if you believe in Santa Claus, it doesn't matter if you believe in Bigfoot. Because all of these beliefs are just figments of our imagination.
So are the delusional fantasies that might cause some guy to go on a murderous rampage. Regardless of whether they're based on something real or imagined, ideas have consequences. When people believe something to the level they believe in Christianity, and when they place the level of importance on it that they place on Christianity, it has a massive impact on the way they see the world, the way they think about information, the way they live their life, and that in turn has an impact on everyone else. At the very least, it's worth talking about. At the very least, maybe it's worth probing whether these ideas are true. I mean, for nobody to ever say anything, to never question even a bit of it, would be quite concerning, actually. I mean, obviously, nobody can talk about every single important issue on the planet, but some people should be talking about each important issue, you would hope, and some of us just found interest in this particular one. For whatever reason, people have many different reasons, that's up to them. If they want to spend their time doing it, well, fair enough. If you don't like it, don't engage with it, or just argue back. But right now, you're just trying to discourage people from doing it at all because you personally don't see the value in it, and it really doesn't matter whether you personally see the value in it. We see the value in it, and we're going to make the points regardless. Just because you're butthurt that you have opposition, and so you insist to us that it shouldn't matter to us, would be a pretty bad reason for us to stop doing it, wouldn't it? Oh no, the person on the other side of the argument told me I should just shut up because I shouldn't care about the argument. Well, oh dear, I care so much. Tell me more about why I should base my entire life around your lack of comprehension of my motivations.
I am not bothered when people believe in Santa Claus. I'm not bothered when they believe in aliens. I'm not bothered when they believe in elves and mermaids and tooth fairies and Bigfoot, even though there's no evidence, absolutely none across the board.
I'm kind of bothered when people believe that stuff. That's very silly. It shows a very, very silly thought process behind it. I think maybe they should consider their arguments a little bit. Fortunately, though, there's barely anyone who believes that stuff. Probably the biggest one you mentioned is Bigfoot. Actually, no, aliens, then Bigfoot. And I've made videos about believers in both. I never really went into the Bigfoot one that much. That's not very influential at all. But there's a lot of people out there who follow Bigfoot like a religion, who basically believe that Bigfoot is some sort of nature guide here to guide humanity into a more enlightened age in tune with nature. They teleport in and out of trees around people when they're in the woods. And people take pictures of them. They take pictures of random bits of trees and branches and foliage. And then through a very impressive display of pareidolia, they find faces all over the place in their pictures, and then they show it to each other and go, look, conclusive proof of Bigfoot. It's incredibly silly. I've spent some amount of time looking at that kind of stuff, and at the various Bigfoot channels on YouTube that have these weird hoax videos or misinterpreted videos. The problem is, it just feels so irrelevant, right? I mean, I've covered very similar stuff before. I covered that UFO Mania channel once that had pictures of what looked like chimpanzees walking down the street and called them aliens. I've spent more time than I probably should on Gina Maria finding spacecraft and plasma beings and alien faces in water droplets and birds. I mean, yeah, this stuff is a concern. It's just, let's put it into perspective. It's a very, very small minority of people who are completely round the bend. Christianity, meanwhile, is ultra mainstream, and the way of thinking, I don't mean specific beliefs necessarily, although that too, but the way of thinking infects everything. For better or for worse, it shapes our entire society, and it needs to be talked about. It needs to be argued about.
I'm not even necessarily arguing that it's universally a terrible thing. Some people will, I would have years ago, but I take a more moderate view now on its social consequences, which is that there's some good and some bad, and, that really varies based on the particular group that we're looking at. And it's all up for discussion, but what really bothers me about it is that it so badly lacks evidence of its truth and yet insists on absolute blind belief, oftentimes under threat of infinite penalty, but always with the promise of infinite reward. It trains people to see faith-based, feeling-based belief as not only valid, but the ultimate best form of belief. Whatever else the religion might be or offer or do, that to me is the critical problem. That is poison. If people are willing to accept the kind of standards that I think are necessary to buy into Christianity, they'll buy into a whole lot more stuff too, very easily. Whereas if people were raised in a more hard-nosed, skeptical way of looking at the world, I think there would be a whole lot less gullibility and a whole lot less susceptibility to manipulation from all kinds of different political interests, business interests, ideological interests, whatever. I don't think the belief in elves is a major participator in promoting sloppy thinking.
But when it comes to God, I'm truly convicted.
There's that word again. Insert Princess Bride clip here.
Because there is evidence for God's existence, but I just simply deny it.
Yeah, it's crap evidence. I deny crap evidence because it's crap.
I deny it. It's not that the evidence are not good enough, it's just I simply deny it.
It's not good enough. Take a real hard look at it next time.
I don't want it to be good enough. It's not that it's not objectively good enough, I just simply don't accept it. I don't accept the existence of God.
Can I stop soon? I mean, technically this video is already within my tolerance for video length. 20 minutes would be nice. But man, this one makes it tough to keep going. This is truly shit tier.
So I waste my time making channels on YouTube and social media and coming to these live debates to argue for no reason, because at the end of the day, as an atheist, I'm wrong.
Uh-huh. Nuh-uh. There, refuted. Tick-tock. Tick-tock.
And I lose the argument. Regardless, I'm technically arguing against a non-existent being.
No, we're arguing against extremely existent believers. The being itself has nothing to do with it. It's not arguing. You are.
A being that does not exist. We are wasting our time giving attention to something that doesn't exist.
People believe in Christianity. Christian believers exist. Don't be stupid.
If I'm correct and God absolutely does not exist, I might as well walk off stage. I might as well not waste my time.
Wait a minute. I've been arguing with you this whole video, but you've been giving me the perfect out this entire time. If I'm correct and God doesn't exist, I could just walk off stage. Why do I waste my time? Yeah! Why do I waste my time? Good enough excuse for me. I'm out of here. See you later. Yeah, it's over. Yeah!